Read the book Richest Man in Babylon. And no matter what, take 10% of what you earn and invest it and save it, have it to the side so that when something happens and you have an emergency, such as a divorce is an emergency. That's what you use your emergency fund for.
If you're going through a divorce or you know someone that's going through a divorce, do not sign a quitclaim deed.
Yep.
Don't give someone ownership in the house.
Or they could short sell it, meaning that if it's owed more than it's worth, then they would be allowed to sell it for less and whatever they get, and then the mortgage company just lets them out.
Problem number one is that when the house forecloses, of course, and the time that it's been behind, it's damaging both his credit and your credit.
I'm a big fan of don't use credit. Don't borrow money. She tried to do a divorce without an attorney. Big mistake. You don't know what you don't know. Or she hired an attorney that didn't do this right for whatever reason. Maybe it's the attorney's fault. Maybe it's not.
You got bad legal advice.
Yep. Exactly. Dave agrees.
Because you gave the house away, but you kept the mortgage. VA will chase you to the ends of the earth for the difference.
There's a protection, at least under Texas law, called a deed of trust to secure assumption. You can fix it. And it depends on the big picture. Because if they were screwed, they had nothing else, no other money, and they're already upside down, and he's supposed to pay it, that's actually a better choice because they're trying to get out of it. And he's supposed to pay it. He's not. File a motion for contempt against that. There are things that you can do, but you should listen to your attorney. If you're in Texas, we can help you out with that. My ex-husband is about to put me in foreclosure. We see this a lot. It's a big mistake that people make when getting a divorce. It can be prevented. You got to hire the right law firm to help you with this. Let's see what's up.
I was calling because about a year ago I got divorced, and since that time I've been working really hard to do the total money makeover, and I'm hammering down on baby step 2, but I just found out the home that my ex-husband got sole responsibility for in the divorce is now in foreclosure. And
so there is a legal instrument that prevents this type of thing. It's called a deed of trust to secure assumption. It sounds like he's staying in the house, but he's not paying for it. At the point where if you're letting somebody else stay in the marital residence and your name is on the mortgage company doesn't let you out of that just because you got a divorce and the paperwork between the two of you says that the other person is supposed to pay for it. The mortgage company says, I don't care. Big bag mortgage company says, we went to both of you, and if this one doesn't pay, both of you have to pay. We're going to ruin both of your credit. It's a foreclosure, counts against both of you. That's a problem. So there's a legal instrument called a deed of trust to secure assumption. What it is what it allows, it says, okay, if you're the one that's going to pay for the house, if you miss a payment, the other person whose name is also on the house can make the payment and then send you a letter of demand to where you have to make the payment back. If you fail to do that, then they can foreclose on you and take the house back, and attorney's fees on top of that awarded. So the mortgage company doesn't foreclose on y'all, you foreclose on them, and then you take the house, you make the mortgage payments going forward, or you get the house sold, pay the mortgage company off, and a foreclosure doesn't go on your record. She needs to talk to an attorney immediately. Mm-hmm. And the problem that I'm worried about here is that she tried to do a divorce without an attorney. Big mistake. You don't know what you don't know. Or she hired an attorney that didn't do this right for whatever reason. Maybe it's the attorney's fault. Maybe it's not. I would tend to think it's probably not. I would tend to think she probably tried to do this on her own, and they just didn't get that far. But
they didn't know to do this.
Right, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
My name is on it.
The other thing is that if the other person is supposed to take and pay for the house, then they should either be required to refinance. However, refinance, this used to be a lesser problem than it is now. When interest rates were real low, 3%, refinancing, sure, no big deal. Now, though, you refinance from 3% to 6, 7, 8, 9%, you're doubling the price of the house. A refinance can be devastating, and a lot of times it's more than even what spousal maintenance would be. So we're doing a lot more deals where they don't have to refinance so that they can take advantage of that lower interest rate, and we use that ability and savings elsewhere to make sure that everybody's taken care of. That's a very, very advanced technique that only very best quality attorneys are knowing to do and are doing. This type of thing that we do, it's very important. Don't do your own divorce.
I'm just trying to find out what I can do to protect myself or if I should be changing anything I'm doing towards that situation.
I sure hope he tells her to get a lawyer because she needs legal help. She should be calling an attorney about this, not Ramsey. Although it's fine to call Dave Ramsey. I'm really curious about to see what
What advice he gives her?
That's what I was trying to say.
Wow. I'm sorry. You got bad legal advice.
Yep. Exactly. Dave agrees.
And because you gave the house away, but you kept the mortgage.
Yep. Big mistake.
That happens a lot in divorces. They just do a quitclaim deed, and you give over the ownership, but you stay
Never do that.
on the mortgage. So you're getting ready to get foreclosed on too, is what this means.
Yep.
How
Right.
far behind is
really
the house? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
How far behind is he? Do you know?
About 150 days now.
Okay.
About $10,000.
Okay. And what is your household income?
I now, on my income, make $35,000 a year. I'm a first grade teacher.
She's not gonna have the 10 grand out of her income. Maybe she got it out of the divorce. Maybe. And it's hard to do a deal like this where, she would have had to get something if he's taking a house.
Yeah.
She would have had to have gotten something.
I hope. Yeah.
But hey, the people do stupid stuff.
Yeah, people do.
Okay. And has he had the house up for sale, trying to sell it?
It is on the market for sale because part of the agreement was he had to get my name off of the mortgage, and that was the only way that he could do it. But he's now moved, and so it's not a priority for him right now. So
he's not even living in the house?
He's not living in the house anymore either.
Oh, gosh.
I wonder what his credit is or whether he cares, because he might actually just be doing this out of revenge. Or maybe they got a divorce because he's careless. Who knows?
Well,
And that's the type of thing I actually would ask. This is information that I would be going through all this in a consultation with her.
getting ready to get foreclosed on too, so it should be a priority to him.
If the house is up for sale, sometimes the mortgage company won't foreclose. One of the questions is the house upside down or do they have equity in it? Because they're about to lose all their equity.
I know.
And this is the type of thing where they
she
could
should
short
be
sell it.
entitled to.
Yeah, exactly. Or they could short sell it, meaning that if it's owed more than it's worth, then they would be allowed to sell it for less and whatever they get, and then the mortgage company just lets them out. Or that if there's equity in there, the mortgage company, I don't know, at 150 days, if the mortgage company thinks that there's $100,000 worth of equity in that house, then they're going to maybe want to get that house and make a bunch of money back out of it. But it sounded like maybe there's not a lot of equity in it. There's a couple of factors that indicate that, but yeah, problem.
It's not.
Okay. Well, is the house on the market with a real estate agent?
It is. It has been for about 8 months now.
Okay. What are they asking for it?
They're asking too much if it's 8 months on the market.
I think $290 now is what it's at.
And how much
What
do
is
you
the
owe?
mortgage balance?
There you go.
$280.
Okay.
That's why. So they're trying to get enough to pay off the mortgage, give the realtor
Their
a few
fees.
percent, and nobody's interested. They're upside down on this house.
Yep.
Not good.
And what kind of a loan is this? FHA, VA, or conventional?
A VA loan.
Oh, jeez.
And he's the benefits. He's the one who got the VA benefits. So,
Okay,
I can't do
here's
much
your
with it.
problem, all right? There's two problems that go with this, and I don't know that there's a whole lot you're going to be able to do about this. But the problem number one is that when the house forecloses, of course, and the time that it's been behind, it's damaging both his credit and your credit because you're on.
I might see if she can move in depending on where she would live. I would want to know where she's living, how much she's paying, and how much the house payment is, and see if it's possible for her to move in and take that house over. And then as her attorney, I would be trying to negotiate that with her husband because they're going to take a big credit loss. They're going to have to pay a whole bunch of money, and depends on where she lives. If she's in an apartment or whatever, she can get into this house with no down payment. And if the payments can work, for example, if he's paying her child support or spousal maintenance, maybe she can afford it. At only making $30,000, I am highly concerned that she won't be able to even make this house payment, because if a house payment is $2,000 a month, then that's $24,000 a year. If she's making 30, she can't put gas in her car, feed herself, do any of those things. So,
Right.
this one's tough.
Yeah.
on the loan.
Yes.
The second problem is the foreclosure will occur, of course. That's going to continue that damage.
I think it's just foreclosed on. And I think that the mortgage company at this point is going to take a hit.
It takes 7 years for something like that to fall off your
Yeah.
credit, too.
Yeah. But I'm a big fan of don't use credit. Don't borrow money. Who cares? Pay cash for everything. If you don't have the money, don't buy it.
Well, she can rebuild her credit, too. I mean,
Make it even worse. You will now have a foreclosure on your credit report, which means you're not buying anything for 4 or 5 years on a mortgage
Right.
anyway. Okay. Then the last problem.
At $35,000 a year earnings, she's not buying anything anyway.
anyway, yeah.
There's a book that one of his co-hosts wrote. It's called From Paycheck to Purpose.
Oh, yeah.
And I've started giving that book out. I haven't read that book yet, but it's on my list. I'll probably have it done within a week. And it's a very good book about how you can do something to increase what you're making. But I don't know. Maybe she's raising kids. Maybe that's all she can work. Maybe her skills are limited. I'm not sure. But I would want to know more. Let's see where Dave goes with this.
Problem is the biggest problem. I can deal with the bad credit, but
Yep.
the VA will chase you to the ends of the earth
Yep.
for the difference.
Yep.
They'll go after him first as the veteran.
Yep.
But if they sell this house for $250 and there's $280 owed, they're going to come after you guys for that other $30.
Yep.
That's the deficit balance, and both of you are on the note. And the VA is relentless, and so you'll have to deal with them when they come to you. I wouldn't bother with them until they come to you.
Yep.
It's a slight possibility they'll go after him and never bother you, but it's a fairly slight. They're the most aggressive of the mortgage types for going after deficits and going after the the differing balance versus what they sell it for versus what that was owed.
With what she makes, I'm suspicious that she didn't hire an attorney or hire a proper attorney.
Yeah.
And in that, there's no equity in the house, even though, so he took the house probably as an obligation. Okay, I'll take the debt or whatever
'Cause
that
she
we're
can
going to
afford
fail
it.
on. Right. And she just got out. Bad situation. This is why it's so important for, if you're married, you need to have financial security. And one of the best ways to do that, go to Financial Peace University. It's $129 and 2 hours a week for 9 weeks. You get a year worth of support with their app. Follow those steps and start building yourself a financial platform for you to live on. Read the book, Richest Man in Babylon. And no matter what, take 10% of what you earn and invest it. Pay yourself because you're giving away all your money. You have to be financially prudent. We're not teaching this to people early enough in their lives. We should start teaching this to kids at 7 or 3, but ingrain it into your kids over and over and over again. If you don't have the money for it, don't buy it. And no matter what, you take 10% of everything that you ever get. Take your 3rd grade lunch money, 10% of that, and invest it and save it, have it to the side so that when something happens and you have an emergency, such as a divorce is an emergency. That's what you use your emergency fund for. It is one of those things. You've got to get through it and get something that's healthy so that you don't have these problems. This is just devastating.
What is his income?
That's exactly what I want to know.
The last that I was aware, it was about 60 to 70,000 a year.
Okay. Yeah.
And where's he
We
living?
had a
now?
lot of debt.
Yeah,
Why
they're
did he
more
move?
likely to come after him. And so, really, the only thing you could do today is anything you can do with him or the real estate agent to encourage. Have they set the foreclosure date?
No, they said it could be any time from June on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it could be June to the next June. It just depends on how
They may or may not
diligent
ever.
they are, which a lot of
Yeah.
times they are.
But
so, what I would encourage you to
that
do is do
mortgager
anything you
will.
can do with him and the real estate agent to drop the price. And then when an offer comes in that won't cover the mortgage, that's called a short sale.
Yep.
And that offer would be submitted to the VA. And the VA would have to approve that offer. That would get you out of them chasing you for the deficit balance if you guys can get it sold on a short sale prior to a foreclosure. Now, what you want to make sure of before you agree to sign off on this when the deal comes in is that that the VA's acceptance of the offer on short sale, listen to this word, is without recourse.
Yes.
And what that means is they can't chase you for differences.
Critically important. And ideally, even if she only hires an attorney for a couple of hours, that an attorney will look at whatever the final deal is before she signs it and tell her, yes, it's the deal that you think you're making, or no, it's not, and at least advise her on that.
But
Okay.
if I'm you, I'm going to bother the real estate agent. I'm going to bother your ex and bother his attorney, or have.
And the other thing about it is that, yes, she can probably have the realtor who will tell her certain things about it. You got to be careful if you're going to trust the realtor. I still would want a licensed attorney to tell me, yes, it's no recourse, no, it's not. That's something best practice. Find an attorney, even if you pay him whatever it is for 1 or 2 hours worth of their things. Yeah, to make sure and to know. And sometimes you can go in and get a consultation with an attorney, and they'll tell you. That could be a 10-minute in and out type of thing that they could look at and go, yeah, you're okay. It's a non-recourse if you do this. But they might also find another solution for you. I'm not a real estate attorney. We do a lot of real estate in family law because we're doing housing transactions and divorces all the time, like every day, literally. So in one essence, yes, we are. This is slightly outside of that because what we don't do is negotiate with lenders or things like that. But an attorney who does that may also have another solution. Totally worth the time to go check that out.
If your attorney, bother his attorney, because he needs to get real worried about this because they're going to come after him.
The other thing that she could do, again, this costs money, and if he has no money and she has no money, then it's going to be difficult to get an attorney to even go after him. But you can, in Texas law, you can file a motion to enforce because he's not paying that, and you could ask for contempt. It's not something that you can get contempt jail time for, but you could get an attorney's fee award where he has to pay you money for your attorney's fees, and it could be a nuisance to him. He's got to pay an attorney again, and so maybe he'll hop to it just at the threat or upon filing, so you don't have to pursue it and spend a bunch of money doing it. Or is that you'll get a piece of paper that says he's supposed to pay you money, and then you can attempt to collect on that. With what he makes, is he ever going to have anything that's ever going to actually make him pay? No, it's probably going to be something that sits on his credit, but will sit on his credit forever if you actually get the judgment. And so if he ever has money in the future or things like that, or even if he passes away, you can get it from his estate. So it might be worth it with the resources that she has. I mean, for the cost of doing that, $5,000 or $10,000, maybe to have to file an enforcement, I would probably look at this and rather her take $10,000, pay the mortgage company off, see if she can move in the house, something like that. But again, she can't afford it. It's just a problematic situation. And I like exactly what Dave's recommending here.
Right.
For a bunch of money. And they really, really are, Alex. I mean, I deal with this all the time. They really do come after you. And so this is going to bankrupt him.
Be in contact with the mortgage company, myself, just to see what our options are, but he's not contacting them or responding to anything. And whenever I bring it up, he won't discuss it. So,
take your lawyer and spend $500 and sue his butt then.
Okay.
Get him drug into court in front of the judge to where he gets dadgum serious, because he's in contempt of court here by not dealing with this. And so this house needs to be on the market on a short sale. You need to be bothering him and bothering the realtor. And if you can't get his attention, then use your attorney and the judge to smack some sense into this idiot. Because him just walking away from this is going to kill him too. Okay?
Right.
But you're attached at the hip still is the problem with this fool. Yep. And so you're going to smack some sense into him. And if he can't get it by you or the realtor or your lawyer talking to him, then have the judge do it in divorce court before this house slips away. Because if you can spend a little bit of money and a lot of bothering somebody, squeaky wheel gets the oil, and get this house sold on a short sale, it will save you a lot of pain later. You will not have a foreclosure in your name. A short sale is damaging to your credit, but not as much as a foreclosure.
Right.
But the big thing is they won't be coming after either one of you for the deficit, and that's by far your best choice. And it's worth some effort on your part and his part to cause that to happen.
No question. Absolutely, that is the best situation and solution in this scenario. Under these circumstances, no question.
Now, if none of that happens and they foreclose, well, just ignore it.
Yeah, and then the other thing would be maybe they could rent this house out or something. Find somebody.
Right.
There are some things that maybe they could do, and then maybe mitigate the damage, and that would allow them for example, if let's say the house mortgage is $3,000 a month, they rent it out for $2,000 or $2,500. Ideally, they'd rent it out for $3,000. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But even if they can only rent it out for $2,000, then you get people in there paying $2,000 and you're $1,000 short on it. You're still getting that mortgage paid off. It may be cheaper and better for you to do that. Her best bet is clearly a short sale, though.
Just ignore it and don't worry about it until they call you. And if they call you, just laugh and say, I'm a first grade teacher. I make $35,000 a year. Good luck. I ain't got any money. I'm not able to give you guys anything. You need to chase your deadbeat veteran over there. He's the only one that can pay anything because he's got a much better job than I've got, making twice what I make. And by the way, he's the veteran, so go after him. And just laugh at him. And and then someday you may have to negotiate your part of the loan or the deficit, but that may be 3, 4, 5 years before you have to deal with that. So if you can't get the house sold on a short sale before foreclosure.
And I don't think I would do anything unless I was actually sued by them.
Right.
They're going to do a lot of different collection activities. Your credit's already ruined at that point. And so.
Yeah, because you have all these late payments.
Yeah, with what she makes, it's questionable.
Yeah.
Now, although I say that, I would actually be doing everything possible. I would pay this debt. I would eliminate this debt no matter what. I would probably negotiate with them, see if they could take it down and say, look, he makes 60, I make 30. I don't know. Hard to say, because for her to live on 29 and pay 1, for him to do the same thing, he lives on 29 and he pays 31. So.
And they're $10,000 behind.
Yep.
This
is not a good situation.
No.
But it's something she can come back with, but she really needs to deal with this now. If she can get a short sale done, absolutely.
Yeah.
Closure. After that, I just get real quiet and just don't have a bunch of conversations with them, and just be hard to work with and point them back at him and give him his home address, and just continue to push that and turn them loose on him, because he's the one dropped the ball on this, obviously. And, if both of you did everything you can do and you can't get the house sold, then you did all you can do. And all you can do is all you can do, and you just, after that, you just, again, walk away from it emotionally and deal with it when it comes up at some point in the future. Thanks for calling in. So what's the lesson for you listeners from that call? If you're going through a divorce, or you know someone that's going through a divorce, do not sign a quitclaim deed. Don't give someone ownership in the house. I don't care what your attorney says. Your attorney's an idiot if they're telling you to do that.
Caveat. There's a protection, at least under Texas law, called a deed of trust to secure assumption. You can fix it. And depends on the big picture. Because if they were screwed, they had nothing else, no other money, and they're already upside down, and he's supposed to pay it, that's actually a better choice, because they're trying to get out of it, and he's supposed to pay it. He's not. File a motion for contempt against that. There are things that you can do, but...
Can you actually, after the fact, have him sign a deed of trust?
Absolutely.
To secure assumption?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I don't know that he would, because then you're going to foreclose on him, and then it's just you having the problem too. It wouldn't necessarily solve that problem. And Dave doesn't have enough to know whether or not this was the right deal or not.
Right.
In a lot of circumstances, it's not. But in some circumstances, and the more that I heard about hers, the more it was this. There was not one that says, oh, this is definitely not one of the circumstances where it was going to be this way no matter what.
Right.
Everything that he gathered was, oh, it could be this situation. I would have asked her more questions. I would have found out more things before I would know whether or not that's good advice or not. You should listen to your attorney. Your attorney. This is giving you information. Dave's show is giving you information. But listen to your attorney. And if you're in Texas, we can help you out with that. So this is the Lawyer Dana Show. We'll see you in the next episode.